Hi everyone, welcome to Sozo Talk Show. I am your host Jen Shiko, and today we're glad to host a couple that will discuss about love and perseverance. We have Adelaide Bond and James Bond, who we are going to introduce, and they have a story to tell. And as usual, this show is designed to inspire, educate, and entertain. So be seated, don't go anywhere, be ready. We have so much ahead of us. So karibuni sana. You're welcome. Please introduce yourselves.
I think you should start.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm James Bond. And
I'm Adelaide, Sonia Bond. Recently just got married.
Yeah.
That's why I call myself Bond actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
good
Bond
idea.
is James Bond. And did you believe by then he's called James Bond?
No, I did not. I remember. I remember when we started talking and he told me that he's James Bond. I thought it was a joke, so I said I'm Beyonce, and then he said, "No, real, I'm Bond." So for me,
my real name.
yeah, that's my real name. I didn't believe. I was like, "What?" It's yeah, it's a strange name. So I didn't believe him in the beginning.
Wow, that's nice. Now, how did you meet? Like, let's start with James. How did you meet, Adi?
we met online on a group called Single Disciple Connection. She was in the group chat. I joined the group chat, and I'd seen there was a question posed, and it said, how come single moms don't go on dates with single dads? So it seemed as if someone asked a question, but there was no answer given. So it seemed as if it was posed to her. So I said, I'm a single dad and I like to go on dates. We can go on dates.
Single mom.
Yes.
Wow.
We can go on a date and we can talk about it privately if that helps.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, actually, and I when he sent that we can go on private conversation. The Single Disciple Connect is a platform that has been set about with our church. So it's not just any random social media. I don't want someone to think, we can just go out there, you know. No, it's not just any random social media kind of a thing. It's a set put across for our churches, for the single people in our churches. So the church felt like it needed to put a much wider horizon on this and put up that so that different single women or men in our churches in all over the world can easily communicate on that platform, because sometimes you can be in your own region, in your own place, but you end up not really knowing much or even not getting married. So you don't know where God has actually placed your husband or your wife. So that's where they came up with that platform. When I joined the platform, I wasn't going to look for a husband. I was pushed by my mentor. We have mentors, so she really insisted that I had to join for this group. I joined because she kept on asking, Umejoin. I'm like, oh my goodness, why can't she leave me alone? So I joined the group so that when I go meet my mentor, I'll tell her, yes, I joined the group. Just to finish up that kind of conversation. So, but my intention was I want to get encouraged and I want to encourage someone. I believe that God had put me in different parts in life, and that's, if I would share that with somebody, they would be encouraged and they would, their life would change. So when that question was posed, I felt like they were attacking the single mom. I was a single mom.
Yeah.
So I felt like, wow, why are they asking that? Why can't they ask us out? How come it's asking them out? So I was trying to defend the single mothers, and he came to my rescue, and he was like, yeah, I would like to go out too. Probably we can private church or something. The first thing I did, I went and searched for him on Facebook and went through his profile.
I know.
And I was just thinking, hey, let me check Kwanzaa.
There was no pictures in the chat.
Yeah, and there was
So we didn't know what we looked like. I didn't know what she looked like. She didn't know what I looked like.
The chat is on WhatsApp.
No, it is on
Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, no, I can't just invite this person on my private church.
Yeah.
I need to know who is this
is,
person.
yeah,
So
sure.
I got to go and I was was going through, and I'm like, this young handsome boy is asking me.
I know.
I'm thinking, oh no, I didn't. I just thought
What
it was
picture was
flick.
that?
Yeah, the other one that you took, and you're really young in that one, actually. You know?
You're so young, isn't it now?
Yeah, and I was like, hey, Apana, you know. So I just I trusted that I didn't think that it was anything bad or he had any intentions. So I agreed. I said, okay. And
Let me try this out.
yeah, no, it was one-on-one, like those kind of interrogation kind of.
He did the interrogation.
No, I did a lot
No,
of
she
it.
did the
She
interrogation.
did the interrogation.
I have to end it, not end the meeting, but I have to end it. We never went on a date.
You never
We did not go on a date.
at all.
Nope.
Oh no.
Just communication.
Just communication. We did not go on a date. It was just more we talked. And she asked questions, and her questions they weren't rapid fire, but they were questions after questions, one on top of the other. And as she knows, I would tell her it was hard to answer her questions because usually when you ask someone a question, you want them to respond with their answer. She'll ask you a question, and then ask you another question on top of it. Yeah, on top of it. And then you're like, okay, so you answer that question, here comes another one. So it's just like you're being hit with more questions. Like it's like, here's one, here's another one. Okay, you answered that, let's go again.
That's nice. So that's how now you guys met.
Yeah.
Then you went on your private chat and started chatting.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned you're single mother. So you guys had a life before that, before you guys met. So how was it for you, Adelaide? Let me start with you. How was it like dating again, considering you had a life before?
It wasn't easy, I'd say that. Having to have gone through a relationship and you are heartbroken and, you know, I literally hated men. Like, dark-skinned men. You are not dark, don't worry. I really hated men.
Get dark.
And especially my own, because I felt like I trusted. I threw my heart out there. I've lived with someone. We've raised children together, and for someone to just pack and go and leave you stranded, you know, you don't want to trust again, and you don't want to fall in love again. And I'm the kind of a person that when I fall in love, I jump in stupidly. I'd say that, like naruka na miguu zote, you know, you just jump in. Na kila kitu yote, you know, you just jump in there. And so I think it wasn't easy to just again, you know, get in there and like, I'm gonna jump into this relationship. But he made it so easy. You know, most of the time what happened was when I would talk to someone and they find out that I have children, the first question I'll be asked, are they all from the same dad? And then you start asking, kwani wanafikiri?
I know.
Those kind of questions were very intimidating. So I didn't want anybody who would ask me any kind of question like that. But he never asked me that. I told him myself. By the way, they're from the same dad, but he never asked me. It never crossed his mind like he needed to or doubt me in any way. He never made me feel uncomfortable being a single mom.
What about you, James? What kept you going when dating? Like, were you positive about this new thing with someone you do not know?
Yeah, I think it was easier for me that it was someone I didn't know and that it was someone that I didn't see daily. So it helped me to appreciate the building the friendship, because I'm not saying like if I see you I'm just gonna get tired of you, but you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So once you have the absence, you know, you have that time to come up or think of more questions like, oh yeah, how's this going and how are you doing, and you know, how are the kids, or you know, just to ask questions instead of just like being that close to someone and you just say the same thing like, yeah, I seen you, you're back. Hi. I like your hair. I said that 5 minutes ago, but I'm gonna say it again. So it's just like you develop more of a conversation. So it's more fresh. It's more organic.
Yeah, that makes you guys be friends before you even start thinking of dating,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
So that was. I think that I wasn't actually even searching for that, but I'm happy the way that it turned out.
Wow, wow, wow. Now we're headed to our first break. You hear the story. They're from different backgrounds, Kenya and America. We didn't mention that in the beginning. But now you see they met online and started dating they first became friends, then started dating. Now we'll be back in a few to talk about how now they started dating and how they met. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So we're going to hear from Adi. How did you guys decide? Now you've dated online.
Yeah.
You've become friends.
Yes.
You've decided now this guy, unajua tunaongea na yeye sana, how can we meet? Ama he's the one who started, like, I want to meet you. Who started, by the way?
Actually, about meeting, it was him. About the word love, I was the one who said it.
Wow.
Which shook him a little bit.
It did.
It did shake him a little bit. Took off for like some months.
Shook is not the word. Spooked me. I was spooked.
He was spooked, and he took off for some time.
Really?
Oh yes, he did.
I was spooked. I didn't even know how to do. I'd never met someone
Who was so open.
and who was ready to say I love you. And I didn't even know, not that I didn't want to say it back, I just didn't know how to answer it. I just was like, hold on, how long have we known each other? Like, hold on, this is kind of cutting it. I don't even know if close is the word, but it's like, this is kind of quick. And I'm like, wow, what did I say to her? What did I do? Like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just like, wow. Yeah, ooh, my heart was just like boom, 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 boom.
I think I told him, and I always tell people, when you know, you know.
Yeah, when you know.
Yeah, when you know, you know. And I always have this belief that I tell myself, what's the worst thing someone can do to me? The worst thing they can say is no, but that won't kill me. Yeah, at least I'll know and I can move forward.
Yeah.
For me to even get into this relationship, I had to pray. I remember praying and I told God that I tried a relationship before, it didn't work. And this time round, I want to try, but not with my own lead. I want you to lead me to the man that you say, this is the man. So for me, I feel it was right. I felt like it was something that God sent. It wasn't just me making decisions as per me.
After how long did you come back?
I think it was more than a month.
It
was more like, I would say 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
It was
what
3
were you
months.
thinking when you went off? Like, what
I was confused. I was very confused. I didn't know how to process it. And then, in my region, in my church, there wasn't a lot of dating at that time. Either you dated until you got married.
Yeah.
There was like not a lot of in between. So advice-wise, there was not a lot of people I can get advice from because everyone was trying to do that themselves. But here I am, someone's telling me they love me, and I'm just like, okay, so where do you go from there? I didn't really get the training on the whole love part, and I was taught that the men say it, so it took me off guard as well. So I was like, hold on, give me some time, I'll say it. But I was taken aback when it was said to me, and I just was like, wow, she loves me, and I'm just like, again, what did I do?
Did you talk to God and ask him, like, yeah, she said this, is this what you want?
I did talk to God, but I think that God will show you. Not so he will talk to you, but you have to listen.
Amen.
So that was more of something like either I was listening to him, but he had to show me, and he showed me that either I was ready for love or I wasn't.
Wow.
So he showed me that this is going to teach you if you're ready for love or not.
Wow.
And it did.
Okay. So now, when did you decide to meet?
So then he called, and it was, I remember it was before Valentine's or something. And he called and he told me, are you seeing someone? And I was like, why? He's like, because I think we should try this thing and see it works, because I feel the same way. I'm sorry I took off, like he explained all that part. And so he now said, I want to come over. I think after he realized that yeah, this is the woman I want to. So he took the lead, and he was saying he wants to come to meet my people. I was a little bit nervous about it. We discussed, but I wasn't really sure that he was going to come. So he kept on telling me, I'm coming on this date. And I think we agreed on the month that was to travel. He was meant to come in May, but then it didn't happen. So we pushed it to October.
The end of October.
End of October, yeah. So that's when, but it wasn't easy to now go, and the planning was not so much of a problem because our leaders knew. According to our church, when you start dating, you have their mentors and then also the church leaders also should know what is going on, because they try to protect the people, the disciples, so that you don't engage in something that later on would harm you. The hard part was to tell my siblings.
And your family now.
Yeah, especially my brothers. I'm the youngest in the girls, and they've seen my life and they've seen what I've gone through.
Yeah.
So they are very protective of me. I remember I talked to my mom. My mom, we have a very good friendship. So I told my mom first, and she's like, have you met him? I said, no. I just saw the blankness in her face. Like,
The African mothers.
Like,
Yeah.
how?
Like, how are you sick?
Yeah.
How can you
But
tell me
my
not
mom is very encouraging. She wouldn't say that, because I think my daughter's gone through a lot. If this makes her happy, okay. So she's like, okay, can I see a picture of him? So I did show a picture, and like, he looks like a good guy. And have you people been talking? I said, yes. She asked me how does his family know about you? And then I said, he's a single parent like me. And the first question my mom asked was, what about the other woman? Is she aware?
Is she aware?
And I was saying, he's from church, he's single. He has, yes, but it's not like and she understood. She was like, oh, I'm just asking because you can never know this stuff.
Yes.
And so she's like, you need to tell your brothers. And I was like, no, Mom, we can wait. He said, no, you need to tell your brothers. I wasn't really bringing myself to tell my brothers. I was like,
Because you knew what to do.
yeah, I knew they would ask me a lot of questions and everything. So she prepared me in the sense that we went for Christmas. And then when we were home at Christmas, I kept on pushing it, because I'm thinking, I'll let you to enjoy too, then I will sort that afterwards. So one day my mom calls everyone. It's like, oh yeah, Adelaide has something to tell you. Oh, no. Yeah, she just put me on the spot like that. And
No, tell them.
yeah, and I was like, okay, I can't hide anymore. So I told my brothers that there's something I need to tell you. There's someone I've been building friendship with. Actually, we love each other. And they're like, from Dubai, because that was the first thing they thought it was from the Dubai church. I said, no, it's not from Dubai. Like, where is he from? I said, Boston. And they're like, have you ever met him? Online, like we talk and video talk, and my brother Sanchez, he's very, very protective of me. It's like, until we see this person, we can't say much.
So
I was like,
at that.
yes, and Ray was like, he's from church, because him is from our church, is an evangelist from our church. Him, he was different. He was like, it's from church, yeah, okay, from Boston, okay, have the leaders know, now he goes as per the church protocols and everything. And he said, yeah. And then Oscar is different. Oscar was like, hakuna shida, wewe mlete huyo Mwamerika, si tutapanga vitu hapa.
Him, he's the usual.
Yeah, he was like, so I was like, yeah. And it was really good to be able to talk to my family and just tell them. But it wasn't, I was nervous.
I know.
When he was to come, I didn't know if he liked what he sees. We're human. Besides being Christian, we're human. And I was not sure, like if you like my culture. I didn't want to give him something I'm not. So I wasn't preparing to have him land in some hotels or anything like that. I talked to him and I told him, I'm not going to have you stay in a hotel. You will stay within my area code, like.
Yes, area code.
Yeah, area code. And I'm from Umoja, so the rest.
Oh, yes.
So it wasn't, it's not what he's used to compared to Boston. But I like the way he embraced it. you know, he didn't think, oh yeah, what is this? You know, nothing like that. He had fun. I remember when he landed, we went to pick him up with my brother, my friends. So it was like a group of us went to the airport to pick him up. And when he came, it was strange. You know, like you're seeing someone for the first time.
I know, and he came to you.
Yeah, okay, the best thing that broke everything was my brother was there. So my brother kind of like talked to him. So I composed myself. Like it gave me time to compose myself and everything. And we said hello, we hugged. You know, it didn't feel strange at that time. It didn't feel strange. It felt like we knew each other. You know, it felt like we actually had met before, even though it was a first time meeting. And he just blended in with us. And the kids were also there with me when we went to pick him up.
Wow.
And I wanted them to experience everything, you know, because this is a new man that is coming in my life.
Yes.
So I also wanted them to be part of the journey so that they don't feel left out or this is just mom's idea of you know, fun. But I wanted to be like we are walking in this together as a family. So everything we've been doing with him and the children, it's been a united front.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, James? When you landed to Kenya, what was running in your mind? Like this lady, who are these guys they came with? What was running in your mind?
Not so much that. I think that I was remember some of the things that
Didn't
she
you
was.
have your own fears?
No, I didn't have fears. I didn't have fears.
Not at all.
No, I didn't have. I don't really have fears. Fears has to be in front of me. If it's not in front of me, I'm not afraid of it.
Had you been to Kenya before?
Never. Never been to Africa. I've never been. Actually, that visit was my first time out of the country.
Out of Boston?
Yes.
Really?
No, I have not gone anywhere else but in different states, traveled in different states. First time I got my passport, it was more relaxing because when I went to meet them, everyone introduced themselves. That's kind of like how I was raised. Like, you know, if you don't know someone, you introduce yourself to them, or they introduce themselves to you, vice versa. So you would introduce yourself, everyone introduced themselves. I got to know, I seen her. I was smiling, I was happy when I seen her. I wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, I thought she was somebody else, or I don't know, from her pictures or whatever. But I think the best thing about us is we talked our friendship up so much. It felt as if we were still talking on Facebook or Messenger or WhatsApp. It felt as if that's what we were doing. So it wasn't like, oh, and the awkwardness was not there. Like, oh yeah, you know, we were shaking hands. No, we were hugging. It was like, you know, you get that, oh yeah, no, we don't hug, we shake hands. You get that awkwardness, like you're going for a hug and you're like,
First time.
it's not time for that. No.
You
have to know her a little bit longer. So it wasn't weird like, you know, the people who she was with. It wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, don't do that. It wasn't like a restriction. So, you know, when we just we started talking, we didn't stop talking. So yeah.
Wow, that's nice. What a story.
Yeah.
It's so encouraging. And then when you met, is it like you decided to get engaged, or you gave yourselves time to know each other?
Actually, when he was coming, he was not just come to meet me. It was more to meet my family and an engagement.
Seriously?
Yes.
All in one?
Yeah.
All in one visit?
Yes, that was
package.
actually...
Wow.
It was a package.
Yeah, that was actually... This ring, he had bought it even before meeting me.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had the ring with him. But then we did, but we have a process in our church, like how people get to where marriage should be. Yeah. So we first have to be official as girlfriend and boyfriend. So he did that, which was also very simple. I actually chose my own flowers. I didn't know they were mine, but I chose them. I thought he was getting them for my mom, because we were having the introduction the following day. Yes, so he tells me, oh, which flowers do you think are good? So I chose that thing. And the card, I also chose the card that he gave me, because I thought it was for my mom. So I didn't want something which has words inside. I just chose something that had a heart. And I told we can write your own words inside. Of course, that's what he did. So we went back to where he was staying. It was my friend's house where he was. She had given her house for us to use. So when we were there, I was planning to go home because my mom had come in it was on a Friday. So on Saturday, we were going to have the introduction party with my family being there. Yeah. So we were at, I think it was this other mall, I don't know the name, not TRM, the other mall on Thika Mall. Garden City. So we were there for a movie, and then after that, I was like, I have to go home because mom just came back from the village and he was like, no, I want us to go back. We can have dinner together. So we just ate. Like, I'm thinking, why can't I just go home to be with my mom? And it's like, no. I was thinking we can go, we can cook, we can eat something. So I just thought, okay, fine, let me be nice. So I went and I cooked with the other ladies who were there, my friends from church. And then he gives me that envelope, which is written in, like, I need to read and know that he's asking me to be, this is now officially his girlfriend. Wow. I took the envelope and put it inside my bag.
Really?
Yes, I did that. And he said, you can, he didn't want to rush me. So he said, you want to read it? I just took and I kept it in my bag. And then he said, you can read it later also. There's no problem with that. So I kept it in the bag. And then I served and we ate. And then after that, he said, do you want to read your card? I'm like, I'll read it at home. So my friend, she was there, she insisted, her name is Pamela. She's like, just read it. Like, why are you keeping it? And I was like, okay, fine. So I took the thing and I read, and inside he wrote a poem, a very beautiful poem for me. Yeah, and then there he asked a question, like, if I would be his girlfriend. If it's yes, I circle yes. If it's no, I circle no. Wow. So I did circle yes, of course. I want to be his girlfriend. And then he gave me the flowers. So everything from the flowers, the chocolate, and the card, I chose them, but I didn't know I was choosing for myself. Wow. Exactly. Yeah, so that's basically how it was. And then after that, the following day, we were having this for him to meet my family. They call it introduction na kufunga mlango. Yes, something of that. Yes. And so he had to meet my uncle, my aunt, my cousin, my mom and everything. But the plan was, he was planning to engage me there. After kufunga mlango.
You told him about lazima kwanza ufunge mlango.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So that was what he was planning to do that. But I think God had different plans, because we received a call from our church leader, and he was like, no.
You're not going to engage?
Yeah.
Serious? Why?
We don't know.
Oh, really?
I know.
You know? What was the reason?
I didn't know then, but the way it was explained to me is, you guys just became boyfriend and girlfriend. You should get to know each other, give yourself time. And the other reason was, if you guys do this, then everybody's going to want to do it. So everyone is going to want to make, this is my girlfriend, and we're going to get married. So, like, obviously we didn't think that there was any, plus we'd never done it before. We didn't think there was anything wrong with that. And I think people were just like, just like with my leader and her leader, like we had spoke or whatever, we spoke about it, so there was a misunderstanding between what I said to them and what they understood. So this is the first time I felt like I wasn't a person, because like I was standing there talking to them and my foot was just shaking. It was shaking like, and I'm talking, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them, I'm arguing with them, and they're just like, no, you can't do it that way. My leader was saying you can't do it that way. Her leader was saying you can't do it that way. So, I just was like, wow. I was very, not hysterical, but I was more like confused, and I just kind of felt as if like what I said didn't hold any weight.
Yeah, sure.
So as she was becoming my girlfriend, and as we were thinking it, if I come there, and I engage you, and then the next time we can get married, we were thinking it would have been easier that way for us. So that way, that would have made it easier. So I would have came back and we could have got married. But the church was like, yeah, they don't think that would be a good idea. Because everyone's going to, like, everyone who's in a dating relationship, they're going to be like, oh, we've been dating for months and we didn't engage.
Yeah, I know. And those
they just known each other.
We want to engage.
Yeah,
you came here 10 days. days, and he's gonna get the jackpot. He's gonna get married. That's gonna be his girlfriend, and he's gonna get engaged. So it to them it didn't make sense. And plus, like he was actually telling me that you're gonna go through things that is better that you learn as if you get to know each other. You have more to teach than if you were to just be to get engaged right now. You have nothing to teach you. Let's say like we're gonna go out on a mission team. We don't have any stories. We don't have any history. We have history, but we don't have history of us. That's it. Like we became boyfriend and girlfriend, and then we got engaged. So you can't go from that. Yeah, this was like, these two, they got engaged after they became boyfriend and girlfriend. Anybody else do that? No. So yeah, I think in that time I didn't know, but it took understanding. It actually took a day for me to understand it, and the fact that I didn't understand it and it wasn't explained to me, that's why I was confused.
Wow, that's nice. We're going for another short break, and we'll be back in a few. Just for a sip of water, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now we're coming to the last part of the show where we conclude and know about the engagement and wedding. And of course, being a couple that is, as you've heard their story, they're going to give us an advice about online dating. For those of you who want to date online, how do you do it? Do you go anyhow? Do you follow the church route? Yes, we're going to hear their advice in the last part of this last part. So don't go anywhere. Listen to this. Now, Adelaide and James, I want you to tell me about your engagement. Now, considering you've been told you're not going to engage this time round. This time round ilikuwa ya kufunga mlango.
Yes.
Na acha afunge na aende home.
Exactly.
That's what he was told.
Yeah.
Close the door and go back to where you come from. This is Africa. So now.
And then it was closed.
So you closed the door and went back.
Yeah.
What about the ring?
So he took the ring with him, and it wasn't fun, knowing that you have a ring and then it just goes. You're like, "Ay, kwani." I know, right? And even I had people think like that. I remember someone who was very close to me took me for a drive, and they asked me, "What if he doesn't come back?"
Really?
Yes.
So that ran in someone's mind also?
Yes, and they asked me, and this is someone very close to me, actually a relative, and I remember telling them, then it wasn't meant to be.
Wow.
If it's God's plan for me, he'll come back.
Yes.
But if it doesn't, then it wasn't meant to me to be, and I am not going to be upset about it. Then I just feel like God is protecting me from something that would have become a problem for me in the future. Because I know one thing, I'd prayed and I told God, listen, I do not want to live the same life I lived before. I want something different. I want something new. I want to be happy. I want to smile. I want to feel loved. I want to experience what it is for a man to really love you, without me trying so hard, just being myself and knowing that I'm really loved. So I told the person, like, if it doesn't work, then probably it wasn't. But I'm confident in God that he is the one engineering this. And God is not like man to lie. He's not here to show me something only to just come and snatch it from me.
Exactly.
So that's what I was very sure that this was going to work. But then we started planning. So I was the one to travel to Boston, because then he had come
The
to
engagement.
me. Yeah.
So where was the ring? Did
He went with the ring.
He went back with the ring?
Yeah, he did go with the ring. So yeah, I was like, yeah. So we were planning, but then COVID came.
So you were to go to Boston for engagement?
Yes. And meet his family, because I had not met anyone in his family. So then COVID came, and then things became very hard. Like people can't travel, you can't go anywhere. And then, the American embassy here, it's really around, really hard to give visas to Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So but I had not tried. COVID is what really made things a little bit harder. And then he thought of coming to visit, and then with COVID also, so I think in my heart, I just prayed and I told God, if really this is meant to be, let it happen according to your pace, not mine. And we would pray together. Like some of the things we used to do was pray together, read the Bible together, read books together, Christian
and all
books.
this you were doing virtually?
Virtually. All this we're doing virtually. We've read through Proverbs, we've read through Psalms, we've read together, yes.
Wow.
We've read a full book, I think it's 500 pages or something. Yeah, together. The book is about purity. We've done quite a lot. We've played games. We've watched movies together. And everything is virtual. And it's and I think that's why we drew very close. And then after that, of course, he planned an engagement virtual. It wasn't like he didn't come. He was planning with the people here. I didn't know about that. So I think he should tell you that part of the planning.
Because plan, James, tell us how you planned.
Well, what I was doing is, so after just being kicked out, after opening the door and being kicked out, not kicked out of Africa, after opening the door and closing the door, and I had to, basically my ring was a prop because I took it back with me. So I'm just, in this point, she's window shopping. She's seeing the ring. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, you might get it later, but I'm not sure when, because you don't want to be like, okay, we're girlfriend and boyfriend for a month, let's get married, let's get engaged, 2 months, let's get engaged. So I was just trying to plan it. So what I did is the people who heard the discipler, I was in contact with. The brother who I stayed with, I stayed in contact with him. And there were a couple of other people who were helping out as well. But I just made sure that she was not aware of it. And we'd actually been talking about it. But she was like, oh yeah, when are we going to get engaged or whatever? I was like, we're going to get engaged, but we got to figure it out, I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, since you say it, we're going to get engaged. It has to be a surprise.
Yeah, it has to be.
So it's like a committee of people and they're like, oh yeah, so how do you want to do this? And I'm just like, what? I thought we were just gonna do this. I don't know. I didn't have a plan. I'm like, we're just gonna get engaged. It's nothing gonna be like, it's like, oh, maybe there's something you want to do. And I'm like, oh. So then I had to go back to my brain and think about this. So I was just like, what does she like to do? What does she always talk about? So that's what the engagement was about. But I did the engagement too well. So when I did it too well, she didn't know what I was doing. Wow. So she was still lost. She just thought we were having a Zoom meeting or a dating, just talking about dating and stuff like that. Yeah. So if there was advice, we can give advice. So we were playing a game actually. So we started to play a game. Yeah. And on virtual, we started to play a game, and I was asking the questions. All these questions led me to the engagement, but she didn't pick up on it. These were signs. So I'd gotten a fortune cookie, and it says, you're about to make an important decision. I read it to her, and she was like, "Oh, maybe that means we're gonna get married." So we're both thinking about that, right? So and I'd actually told this to my pastor, and he wasn't really ready to believe that either, because it's a fortune cookie, and you can get anything out of a fortune cookie these days. They could be like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna win $1 million." Like, yeah, when is that gonna come? So that was one of the signs, and the coins. I put the coins from Dubai, because I got a coin from Dubai. And these were places that we're talking about. If we weren't able to live here, we would live there, in Dubai and in Canada. And then after I read a poem to her. She really liked the poem, and she didn't. I just got down on one knee. She didn't know what I was doing.
How many were you in the meeting?
A lot.
At that time we grew, because we started off with 6 people, and then we grew. It grew out to 30 people.
Wow.
So what
From
we were
the
doing.
Group you guys were the single whatever group.
No. Family members were put in.
There were people from my church as well.
People from his church. My family members were pulled in. People from the church here.
So you're the only one who didn't know.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Clueless. She was clueless. She did not know. Even when I got down on my one knee, I proposed to her. I think she didn't hear me. So I said to her, and the funny thing is that I had to continue to propose to her for the people who didn't see it. So I'm like, and then people are like, oh, I hear you guys got engaged. Show us what you did. I'm like, really? Come on. I was already down on my knees. Like, what are you trying to do? Give me knee problems? But I proposed to her. She didn't hear it, so I proposed. and I don't think she could hear it. So
I
like the
had,
sound
it's
wasn't
just that I didn't-
going through.
I didn't know it was serious
Yeah.
because I didn't know that was. In fact, I remember asking, "Are you serious?"
What?
Yeah, he said, "I am on my knee. Would I be on my knee if I'm not serious?"
Yeah.
And then
And my friend, one of the girls, the ring had been sent through one of the brothers that he came and knew it from here. So they were planning from here, which I
Yeah.
didn't know. And so the girl, her name is Pamela, she was given the ring to come with it to my house. But she tricked me. She said that she want to hang out with me, and I said, like, "Ah, mi napenda chapati zako," something like that. I'm like, "Hey, come, I'll cook for you." Yeah. So we reached, and she came. I picked her up. We went in the house, and she's like, "Oh, maybe we should do makeup." I'm like, "No, let's go and look for nyama. Kenyan with nyamas.
Napika chapo.
So yeah, exactly. So I was like, let's go and buy nyama, and we walked. We didn't even take a matatu. We walked from my place to where we buy kichinjio. The kichinjio place. So we walked to that place, and she's receiving calls. They're asking her, "Uko wapi?"
Where are you?
We are already here. Where's the girl? And she can't tell me. So she's like, let's go back in the house. And I'm like, what is wrong with this lady? Can't we just pick up what we need to pick and come back? So when we came back home, I didn't go and sit down. I went to the kitchen and I want to prepare because I want my kids to eat on time. And then she's like, James sent this link. We're supposed to be hanging out, that group of ours. And I was upset. I was like, I've already told them that when we are having this, because I know I'm not the type who wants to be disorganized and be told.
Yes.
So I already told them when we have this kind of things, they need to let me know in advance. I'm a mother. I have other things to do. I can't just drop stuff just because you guys want to have a group meeting or something like that. And she's like, she didn't really understand why I didn't want to go for the group meeting. So she just decided, even her, she's a hard head. So she pressed on and she just put it on my screen, and I'm seeing James there, and I have to smile, because I was really upset.
Yeah, I know. You had to smile.
I had to smile instantly, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I will kill you, thinking. So she's like, "Hi, I've been waiting for you." I'm like, "Oh, I am cooking. Can we talk later?" Like, "No, we need to talk now." And people were waiting for 2 hours before I came in there,
Yeah.
Seriously.
2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
And how was it, considering your time is
Totally,
there's a
yeah.
difference in time.
The time there's a time difference. So people, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that people were either at work or coming from work. So when they would come, like some people either had to go to work or they were just like at work trying to we'll watch it from Zoom. We can't stay, bro. Like we gotta do some work here. Like we can't we can't do it. So we had to because I knew if I had other people, she would kind of figure out what I was doing. So I had them in the waiting room. So they had been waiting. Some people had left, come back, they just were like,
Waiting.
we can't, they're like, yeah, we can't get in. Like we're in, but we're just in this waiting room. Like, what are we, are we supposed to stay in the waiting room all day? So, that was but we wanted to make sure that we didn't want to just start without her, obviously. So we wanted to because since she was the star, we wanted to make sure that she was there and that she would be surprised. But she was really surprised.
I was surprised. The girl came and she brought the ring. And so she didn't, you know what she did? I think even her, she was confused. So this was the thing for the ring.
It was in a
she
box.
just in a box, and she gave it to me. And I looked at it and I just kept it with me. And I'm still talking.
She likes putting
And everybody's,
things away.
"Where's the ring?" I'm like, "Which ring?"
You don't even know what's
No,
happening.
so I opened. Actually, it's a different ring. It wasn't this. It's a different ring because he couldn't send this from there. So he bought another one, which was sent. So I opened the box, and she just threw the box on me. So I opened the box, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I get out. I open everything, and I get this gorgeous, wonderful. I didn't carry it. I'm the only woman who's been engaged with 2 rings.
Wow.
It's
Nice. Oh no.
Yeah,
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, so I got it and I was like, wow, it's gorgeous. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
So I took it and I said yes. And everybody we can't hear. And then all of a sudden they change everything and I see all these people I see my brothers, my niece, my nephews, my family friends, like everybody's there, my church members are like, oh yeah, and everybody's talking, and I'm like, what? Because I didn't know that it was all those people, and it was really nice.
Wow.
Like both my engagement and us going steady was simple and nice. Like it's not easy for anyone to surprise me. I'm not the type to be surprised easily. So for me, I think that he really did a good job to doing that. And even though COVID was like in our way most of the time, basically, it didn't stop what God had planned. It didn't stop what we were going to become. So that's basically what the engagement was like, online, and I got the ring was brought here. And it was time to tell my mom again about the engagement, but I think she had already been called.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I called her and she's like, oh, congratulations. So it wasn't hard because already she already knew. And before he left here, he had already asked permission, because I believe that, I think sometimes as Christian, we forget the part of parents have to be asked permission for engagement. So we just go ahead, we engage ourselves, and then we go to our parents and like, oh, tunataka kulipa mahari, you know. So I just felt like I didn't want my mom to miss in those kind of opportunities. So she got to through every stage. And even my children, actually my son was involved in bringing the ring from the people who brought the ring to our home to the house. And he didn't even tell me that about that. So I just like that every single person in my life was part of that, what they were planning it.
That's nice. Nice. And that was well set and planned. Now fast forward to your wedding.
Yeah.
You had a wedding.
Yes.
A very colorful wedding.
Yeah, I hear.
Again, he had to come back now for the second time for the wedding.
Yeah, he had to travel again for the wedding. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Like we've gone through a lot, just planning like our life. Even though we have all the victories, there's also been hurdles. We face our own share of hurdles. Being in a long distance relationship is not butter and cookie and whatever. It's hard. Because you need to know this person. You don't see these people. They are in a country where there are multitude of women that he could easily, like, and just be realistic and honest. I mean, he's a catch, right? So,
of course, he is.
Yeah. So anybody would want to. Yeah. So it wasn't easy to being here, and I had to trust in God that this would work. To the stage of marriage, people get engaged and they break up.
Yeah.
So and with COVID happening, we weren't sure if we would even get the wedding happening. So the first time we planned for the wedding was meant to be in 2020, October. Because we wanted to do it the same time he came over. But it couldn't happen. I mean, COVID became too much. His family was a little bit reluctant about it. Because of the fact that they were afraid of the COVID and everything. He had to go through the dowry, which American culture don't understand what that is.
So he came pay the dowry for you guys, for you?
Yeah, he had to do that. But he started doing that way before coming. So you can imagine explaining to a family or people who don't understand what dowry is. If there is anyone who's been put in a lot of meetings with the how do you call those ones where you're put around to be told, are you sure of what you're doing, like every other time.
By the family members.
Yeah, by the family members. His brother was totally not to the idea.
Because he's not African, right?
Yeah, it's
at your place you don't pay dowry?
No.
Not at all.
No.
You get girls for free. Like
you have to pay.
Literally,
you have to pay for the place where it's going to be, and you have to pay for a place called Justice of the Peace. Yeah, so that's just more of like not the dowry, but the fact that what's going to be more expensive is let's say you're going to host it at a lodge or somewhere, or like some type of event, you have to pay for that. That would be considered the dowry. And then Justice of the Peace is I won't say never that, because it's probably years since it's gone up, but that's not the most expensive part about it. It's just getting the venue, booking the venue.
The venue is the most expensive.
So yeah.
So what was your take about
if you want to say free, we get the girls for free. But yeah, I was actually learning because
So you were positive.
I was positive because I've already accepted her at that point. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, this dowry thing is going to be a lot, baby. Paying a lot of money here. This is like the money you would put towards your house.
Yeah.
So I'm learning. So as she was teaching me, even her brothers, was helping me just to understand it. And the hardest part was helping my family to understand because they don't really understand. And I think that the fact that this was a long distance relationship between us, that made it even harder. Because it's not like I could just go around the corner and meet up with her like, hey, we're gonna get married, so find your best dress and I'll get a suit or whatever. So
And then you get married.
and to them, it's easier to do it that way.
Yeah.
But the type of person I am, I've never been the type of person that does things in an easy way. I've always been the type of person that I'll look at the easy option, but I won't choose it. I need to choose the difficult option. I've been that way since I was a kid.
Wow.
So I always choose the difficult option. Why did I should have just went with the easy way. But I've always been that way. I think you learn more. You don't learn anything from the easy way.
Yeah,
The easy way is there, and you're like, okay, so all we got to do is we walk down the street. The difficult way is you're learning the journey of how you got to get there. So when we speak to each other, it's more of a journey. It's the journey that we've been on. It's the journey from, us meeting each other, the journey from us being in a relationship, from us being engaged and to being married. So that journey, though, even if we talk about it like we never thought the journey was going to be like this.
I know.
Who could have planned this? Who would know this? Like we wouldn't, there's no way of finding it out.
Yeah.
So we prayed to God, we fasted, we, asked other people to pray for us as well. But that's the importance of trusting in God. When you trust in God, you don't get your answer right away.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that this taught me. Like you have to be able to listen and hear his answer. Because he could be saying it to you and you're so busy talking that you don't hear it.
Yeah, sure.
So
It's
yeah.
very true. Yes. So what happened was we got a lot of help from our friends, from our family. When we were making the budget for the wedding, we got about and we were like,
Well,
where is this money
that's
gonna
a journey
come
right
from? Because of all the things you're thinking about, the flights, him coming over, where to stay,
dowry payment
the dowry payments. There is the gown. There is all those needed for the wedding, and we didn't know where the money was coming from. So we decided to come up with a day where we used to pray and fast, all the way up until we got married. So
The two of you now.
the two of us. So we agreed. It used to be on a Tuesday and Monday, and then before that we did a 1 month fast. We call it Daniel fast, where with Daniel, when he decided to feed on fruits and when that. So we call it Daniel fast. So we were just surviving on vegetables, and no anything of that for 1 full month. We did that, and it was towards the wedding. And then after that, we decided to fast every Tuesday and Mondays and pray. And also towards the wedding. And then we made up, we just reached out to our friends and we were like, yeah, we're getting married, and it was interesting way before even it was like after we prayed and we did that, a month after we get this people giving out, and we already got our gown, my gown, and the things that we needed way before even the wedding and all these things were happening. So it was more like God was just making ways, just opening up people to support. But still, it wasn't easy so much because when now we were approaching the wedding, more responsibilities were coming up and a lot of things that needed to be taken care of. And at that moment, you look back and you look at your account and there is no good amount there to think that you can actually do something with it.
Yes.
And we are two people who we are working on that. We are very strong head, and we don't like asking. So we'd rather fight our own battles and not ask. But I think this journey taught us how to be vulnerable and reach out, and tell people we need help. And also I remember praying, and I told God, just the way you took care of this woman, and you made her oil not to run, and do the same thing with me. And I remember praying and telling God that, listen, whoever comes to my wedding, to our wedding, let it be the person you already selected to be at the wedding. And whatever we are going to do for this wedding, let it be what you have planned. So it's not us planning, it's you planning, and so we go with what you're planning. And when God is planning for you, believe me, there's a lot that you're like, I want this,
Yes, I know.
I want, and it doesn't really go the way you actually, but by the end of the day, the outcome is even more than what you expected. Because by the end of the day, by the time, before he traveled, he also went through an ordeal to just come from the second time, to come from New York. He went, his visa was not ready, there were changes, he slept in the, how many days did you?
Slept in there one day.
One day
Slept in the airport one day.
At the airport.
Yeah, I had never done that before. In the airport, the people behind the desk, I was telling them like everything that was going on. They was like, you can sleep here. People do that all the time. I was like, that's not really appealing.
Yeah,
You don't tell people that, like, oh yeah, you can sleep over there in the benches. Like, oh, okay, but this is not a bed, that's a chair. So how do I sleep there?
They were trying to encourage you or something. It's nothing big.
And the funny
way possible.
The funny thing was, I said to them, I said, this is going to be the happiest day of my life. It seems like you guys are not trying to let me get on this plane.
It wasn't easy.
Like you guys are trying to mess this up for me.
So when you came, you landed to Kenya, right?
Yeah, after waiting for 3, he was supposed to be here like on the 15th, then he landed on the 17th.
The 17th.
So like all those days he was just in the airport, New York, trying to get his things. Just like there was just a dark thing trying to just not make this happen. And so the more that happened, the more we prayed, the more we fasted, because we kept on telling each other, we've come a long way, and we've beat the odds. So this is just like nothing. With God, everything is possible. But still, as human, there is that thinking, wow, why can't we just for once have an easy way? Why can't we just snap a finger and things just drop, Yeah, but it wasn't like that. I remember, but the funny part was when I feel like God was really working on, and God worked in very funny ways. The last week for him to come, money just started coming in.
Wow.
From people, from this, and we can pay that. And the last week we were able to pay everything. Almost the 2 weeks to the wedding, we were able to pay almost everything that we needed to pay. We didn't have any debt with the venue. We didn't have any debt with food. Everything was already sorted out. And this was like someone like, oh, have this, or this happens, or this comes from here. His mom was really awesome. His stepmom was really awesome. She was like, what haven't you done? Okay, have this and do this here.
Wow.
My family made up something like a fundraising, and so there was all this support system from the church, from the family, from the Boston church, and you feel like, wow, God is really like, God just waited for us to surrender, to just say, okay, fine, God, we are. And everything just started falling in place. And even, okay, we didn't have a decorator. I was thinking I'd do my own decoration, cause
and you did it.
Yeah, I did it, but not the way I wanted. But I think everybody was like, come on, just calm down, let it be. And just enjoy. So I think for us, everything up until the day when we got married, the ceremony and the guests and everyone just being there, and also we faced the fact that COVID still was a problem, because we go to the province for the dowry, and guess what? Lockdown.
The same day you land there.
We land.
4-county lockdown.
Yeah, 4-county lockdown. And we're there. We've done the dowry, and they announced like, oh yeah, people mukae mali muko. And you're thinking, yes. And like, we're supposed to come back. You know what he said? We can just have the wedding here.
Are you serious?
Yes, he just said we can.
That was that was at the Sharia house.
No. When we were at the province, when we went for the dowry.
Yeah, I did say that because it didn't after the world went at the Sharia house. We just led up to that, but yeah, the Sharia house was a funny place. We went there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Sharia house and we were ready. Like we gotta go there.
We've done
fill out forms or
everything.
whatever. So we went. That's the first time we went. He's like, okay, we got to do this. The lady was not cooperating with us at all. She was not trying to help us. It was like she was letting everybody else do it but us.
Oh, no.
Everyone else get their certificate but us. Like we went there, like we had the money on us. We had all the information. And she even told us to go back. She told us to go back.
But she kept on just choosing something.
Things that she can change on the computer.
On the computer, she sent us out.
You have to change this. You have to change this. You have to change
Your
that.
name is not right, even though you know your name is right.
So the funny thing is, she said,
name is not right.
She said to me, his
career is not.
My mom, she said, your mom is an administrator. What is that?
So
I said she does. I said she's an administrator. She works for a college. Oh yeah, just say this. Okay, so you can just say that, right? Like all you have to do is add it. No, she wasn't trying to do it. So we went there. The day we went, there was a holiday. Was I believe Easter.
Easter Friday.
Easter Friday. So we couldn't go until Tuesday. So we went, what was it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
We went on Wednesday because they were going to be closed the following Thursday.
And Saturday was our wedding.
That was our not that week.
Yeah, that week. Saturday was.
Because we went the first time.
Oh yeah.
And then we had to go the next time to fill out paperwork. And then she's like, oh yeah, you're going to have to, did you change the date? Because, you're not going to be able to keep this date. We're like, no, we have people coming from all over. We can't change the date. So we go back. We're just sitting. It seems like she's just like pulling excuses out of her drawer. Like, you don't have this. Oh, you don't have this. And you don't have that. Okay, so we get the stuff.
But that was the devil.
Yeah, we were just like,
did it cross your mind that would have been the devil?
We kept on
trying to fight
praying.
But we were persistent.
And persistent.
We were very persistent because we weren't going
persistent.
to. And after that week, that's the week after we had gotten married. So we went to go get married. We made sure that she was like, we can get married. Then she said,
gave us a go ahead.
She gave us the permission, and she was like, oh yeah,
we asked, can
you
we
can get married, but you can't sign the document.
Yes.
The marriage certificate.
Yeah, the certificate. You can't.
The wedding.
We did a wedding,
the
and then we asked her, so is it okay for us to do a wedding? And then we can sign the certificate later, because the certificates are there, but you need a license to be able to sign the certificate. So the license is what she didn't release because she just was being difficult. But I think that was just Satan.
Yeah.
So we prayed, and then we called the church minister, and we asked him, we said, can we get married without this? Can this be done afterwards? Because what they wanted was for us to pay. Being kidogo, right?
Yes, yeah.
But we told ourselves, we're Christians. We are not going to, if it means we don't get married, so be it. Yeah. But we are not going to lower our, and compromise our faith just because that we want to make someone happy. Yes. If God has already ordained this marriage, it will happen, whether they give the license or they don't give the license. So when we called the church, our church leader, he said, it's all right. You can go ahead and get married. This marriage certificate can be signed later.
Wow.
So what we did was that, but they just made a dummy signing so that people are not wondering, hey,
Kwani hawa sign, and this is Kenya.
Yes.
Kwani hawa sign our to
Yeah.
Anyway.
We finally got the license. We got to sign our certificate, our marriage certificate, which basically for me, I think everything to that day, I feel it was more God engineered.
Yes.
It wasn't more of any of our strength.
Yes, sure.
Because what we faced and what we had to go through, if it was us doing it, we wouldn't have reached where we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everything that happened, I feel that it was all engineered by God, and just like God wanted us to trust in Him and, have faith and believe that things can work. Wow. When people are not believing, or no one thinks like that. Everybody was like, hi, mulimit wapi. You know, when you say
online.
that.
Kwanza when you say online,
Yeah.
this thing, are you sure it's going to work now? The parting shot. At least, James, can you advise someone who is maybe has a long distance relationship with someone they do not know how they can date? So those who are willing to date online, tell them how they can do it in the right way.
Yes.
Give some advice.
Yes. I would say communication is the key. Even from if it's virtual, if from a virtual standpoint, if you have the option to speak on the phone, you can do that too. But always keep communication. Ask questions. Always, you know. A lot of people have random things in their heads, but what you want to do is you want to get to know that person. So the random things that are in your head is not important. It's more like, how do I get to know this person? As I was saying before, she would ask me a lot of questions. That's not how I get to know people. I will get to know you by meeting you, and if you say something, I'm going to stick by that, and I will call you on if you're not sticking by it. That's how I get to know people. But she does questioning, so it was just two different type of styles. Now with different people, they may have not similar styles. It may be a difference, but you have to work at that and make it work. You can't just you definitely need prayer.
Yeah.
You definitely need prayer, and you definitely need to get advice, because even before we even started, we didn't have a clue on what dating looked like. We didn't know what it was like. I didn't know, like, they weren't like instructing me like, so yeah, you before you date the sister, you know, you want to build with them, you want to grow and get to know them, you want to learn about them, you know, you still like them or whatever. Maybe you don't, maybe you want to change. So you need to get that advice from your church, maybe your discipler, or maybe a leader, because they've been through it. So we are the experience. We are the experience of that teaching or that training, because we didn't get that training. So we were just, it was good of her to ask the questions, because even there was a time when I just was like, wow, you're gonna have to stop asking me these questions, I'm gonna get hit by a car. I remember telling her that. But prayer, communication, and seek advice. Because if you don't seek advice, and I think that it's good for the brothers to seek advice, because what happens is sometimes you are the only one that is talking to the sister. So you need to seek advice from maybe your pastor, maybe your leader, maybe your discipler, because it helps you to bring structure. So you're not just you're not asking random questions that are just in your head. So you want this to be spiritual, you have to guard her heart and your heart. Before it was just your heart. You have to both guard her heart and your heart now. So because you're building with her. And if you're not growing with her, then, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Wow. Wow.
Amen.
Wow. Amen. Adi, what are your plans now? Your future plans now that you're married, Mr. and Mrs. Bond?
Yeah.
What are your plans?
Actually,
future aspirations?
To be honest, there's a lot that we want to do, but one thing we keep telling ourselves, we plan, but God takes it differently.
Exactly.
So we just pray and we tell God that the adventure that He had ahead of us, we want to do it the right way. You know, our plan and my prayer has always been that I want my life and what I go through to be my tool for evangelism. I don't want to go tell someone, oh, you need to know God or you need to have a relationship with God. But I have nothing to introduce to them to make them realize that, yes, I also was there. You know, I want a life that I can tell someone I was also there. I have walked that walk. I have gone through this and I am here. And me being here, it's not just me doing it. It's God doing it. And if God can do it for me, He can do it for you. So that's only what I tell people, because I am like believing that together what we are building, it's not just for me and him. It's more for many other souls out there that have given up. That don't believe that there is a second chance, that they don't believe that life, God is loving. There are people who feel like God has forgotten them. You know, I felt all that, but I'm here, I'm happy, and if this can happen to me, and I'm not special, I'm not going to say, I'm very special, that why this is happening to me. I believe that we are all connected to God and we are all loved by God. It's only us understanding the value, knowing how valuable you're to God. Once you know your value to God, then whatever direction He takes you, you're ready to go. So for me, I cannot tell you, oh, this is the plan. No, I am just enjoying
God
the ride
has his ways.
as God.
The plans of the mind belongs to man, but the answer comes from God.
Exactly.
Now we've come to the end of the show. We're glad that you're with us. And until next time, I'm your host, Jenshiko. And please, please, please subscribe, view our channel, and we'll be glad. Send questions, send comments. We'll be glad to answer your questions. Keep on commenting. We'll be glad to read, of course, your comments. And until next time, God bless you and God be with you.